Ok, đợi xíu nha, là có tắt cái. Rồi tốt rồi. Được.
À, đây nào ở đây đẹp quá trời, mình quay hả, quay cái hàng bông này nè, quay giùm đi, quay giùm cái hàng bông này đi, hàng bông nhiều vậy. Cắt một môi đẹp đẹp á, mà chụp những mà phóng to.
Chưa chụp. Thôi ngồi đó đi. Cái đó.
Có chí đâu. Không muốn kéo gần nữa mà.
Đợi xíu đi. Rồi đi. Đi.
Quay không có hậu lắm gì á. Quay mấy người ta đi nghỉ lẹ. Thấy không?
Nè chứ không nè.
Đúng rồi, bây giờ là đón tàu ở dưới đó. Để đi lẹ đi 146 đi xuống dưới đó.
Rồi tắt đi rồi.
This is 333 North Michigan Avenue, based off of Leo Sarnes, second place in stocks. We got mentioned as well.
To the front right of you with our second tallest building in the city and nation, that is Trump International Hotel and Tower. 2009 Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, designed by Adrian Smith. Now, Mr. Smith is the architect behind the current tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Trump is the second tallest in the city and nation, like I said, at 1,362 feet. That height includes the architectural spire that's atop the building because it's actually part of the skeletal design. However, when we look at both our former Sears and the Hancock building, they have antennas. And because antennas could theoretically be taken off, they don't get to be included. Now, Trump is a reinforced concrete skyscraper. We have a glass steel curtain making up the facade, and a series of sub-extras as it rises help with wind bracing. Inside the building, there are 472 luxury condominiums, the five-star hotel, on the first 24 floors. I'm sorry to say, folks, that a few penthouses have already been purchased by Trump himself as well as Derek Rose, but you should not worry, you can still be their neighbors. The penthouses only cap out at a bargain rate of $8 million. As we're discussing architecture this evening, I'm going to refer to buildings to the right side of the direction we're traveling. If I ever need you to look anywhere else, I will always let you know, but for most of the tour, it's going to be to the right side of the direction we travel. As we clear Wabash, you want to look at the simple black box building on your right-hand side. 330 Wabash, the former IBM building. Building sits the House of Blues in Chicago we see today. Many people already know the name Goose Island because of a brewery out of Chicago. Goose Island beer, pretty well known. One of the more popular beers, 312. It's the area code, folks, not 312. That's why whenever you visit one of our Chicago bars, the tap will always be in the shape of a phone. If you have any questions about the breweries, where they're located, or if they have tours available, please don't hesitate to ask. I'd love to help you out. If you do not want to wait to sample a Goose Island beer, go say hello to Anna downstairs at the bar. She does have both 312 and Honker's Ale available for you on that lower level. So as we clear the Chicago Avenue Bridge, on your right-hand side, you want to look for a beautiful, massive red brick building coming into view. I'm kidding, folks. This building on our right's not pretty at all. This is the Chicago Tribune Freedom Center. It is admittedly not that impressive on the outside, but what it holds inside it is pretty phenomenal. This is where Tribune prints their paper. So inside this building, we have 10 Metroliner Gauss presses. Every press, so heavy they actually require their own foundation into the bedrock of a river. Now each of these 10 presses is capable of cranking out up to 7,000 copies of the paper an hour. So the building becomes an asset for Tribune when we have major events in our city. For example, the election of President Obama when he happened to be in our Grant Park of downtown. This building is on both riverways and railways. That makes access to shipping the paper nationwide far more available for Tribune. Tribune has a sense of humor. They take a poll of the ugliest buildings on the river, and their own Freedom Center winds up at number 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as we head south along this north branch, I love to use this opportunity to go over just a little Chicago history with you folks. It is a great chance to get up and stretch your legs if you need to, take some photos with friends and family, say hello to that lovely lady downstairs. She does have coffee, hot tea, hot chocolate, lemonade, bottles of water, soft drinks, and snacks available. But occasionally, if you ask her nicely, and you promise she'll treat her well, she's been known to make a few things a little stronger. So we've had a number of events that really defined Chicago over the centuries, but probably the biggest event with the most impact on the city we see today is the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. No one really knows how the fire started. Somehow, poor Mrs. O'Leary's cow always gets the brunt of it all by being accused of knocking over that lantern. You folks shouldn't worry though, the girl's been exonerated. Our American Bar Association gave the cow a mock trial. We cleared her name because no one could prove it was really her fault. Now, there are numerous theories as to how this fire could have started, but it's most commonly believed to have been meteor showers, because surrounding areas in Illinois and Wisconsin caught on fire that exact same day. For whatever reason, the fire starts. When it hit Chicago, it's devastating. Everything we have and will see was wiped out. So this is technically our museum campus, which is Roosevelt Road, all the way north of Fullerton Avenue in Lincoln Park, Halstead to the lakefront. The fire, so destructive, largely because of the conditions that led up to it. In the August and September before a fire in October, Chicago only has about a half inch of rain. Now, most of our city at the time made out of cast iron and wood. So this literally means that our buildings are wood, the bridges are wood, our sidewalks are wood. These very dry conditions, construction of the city, and winds that fan their fire 25 miles an hour allow it to burn for over a solid day. We had really hoped that this river would stop the fire. The river is so polluted that the fire jumps our river and continues into downtown. It left 100,000 homeless, that is a third of the population. 17,000 businesses and residences destroyed. Roughly 300 people have lost their lives. But we are not a city that takes things lying down. In a matter of days, there are temporary structures all around Chicago. We clear this rubble and debris, and we push it out to the lake, and that extends the coastline. So where we started the tour, the Michigan Avenue dock, used to be where Chicago would greet Lake Michigan. Everything that is east of where we started is landfill left over from our fire. Now, we come back very quickly. In a matter of years, we are bigger, we are better. 1884, Chicago succeeds at the first skyscraper. William LeBaron Jennings Home Insurance Building stood at a full 10 stories with a steel frame. That's an accomplishment next to the 5-story cast iron and wood structures before the fire. We are proud of the new Chicago. We want the country and the world to take note of this second city we had built. So we put our bid in for the World Columbian Exposition. Now, this is a highly sought after World's Fair. It was based on the one in Paris where the Eiffel Tower was revealed, giving Paris and the tower international recognition. Everybody wants to host it. New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, we all send our politicians. Chicago politicians love long and hard. They lobby so much that a New York Times reporter says, "Please do not trust those Chicago politicians. They are nothing but a box. Cracker Jacks, the first hamburger." Pabst beer premiered here, and that is where Pabst won the blue ribbon. Couple of interesting things are on display. There's a suspension bridge made out of soap, a life-size Nathan horse made out of prunes. The U.S. map is constructed out of pickles. And our centerpiece is the world's very first Ferris wheel. Now at the end of the tour, we're going to make a little loop around Navy Pier. There's a Ferris wheel there, over and over and over again as you rode the wheel. Creation of the Ferris wheel. Our overseers are a little concerned someone would hurt themselves atop it. Unfortunately, in the 1890s, we're in the middle of an economic depression and saw a slight rise in suicide rates because of it. You shouldn't worry. Ferris goes to a lot of difficulty to ensure that you couldn't actually get out of the car while the wheel was in motion. One gentleman did realize his fear of heights, though, a little too late, as the wheel got higher and higher and higher. He realized more and more and more that he had no desire to be on it. Flies into a panic. Now, he doesn't damage the wheel, but he did significant damage to the metal in the car. Numerous people try to restrain him, and no one is successful. Now, he comes down slightly as the wheel lowered, but it made 2 rotations before it came to a stop. So as it rose the second time, he flies into another panic. This panic is more intense and violent than the first, and still known as his grand plan was to make it as accessible as possible to move back into our city limits again. In 1986, that building is completed, and it is a jumpstart to the South Loop revival. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on your right-hand side, it is a hard building to find, but we're going to do our best. We're passing the Power Complex. As soon as we pass the Power Complex, you're going to see a shopping center. You'll look for like a Marshall's and an LA Fitness. You want to look past those for a red and white radio tower. Now, as soon as you find that radio tower, it's going to be way back on land past the shopping center. Look to the right of it. There's
Picture with my phone. So take it. Huh? You say you'll take one and send it to me? Can I get a drink from downstairs?
Băng luôn, thì mở rộng cái đường băng ra. Đây là nhà mình biết đến.
northeast into the lake.
Hồi đó ông Lý Văn Diệu học rất là giỏi và ông học là một học sinh rất là giỏi và có đi du học và ông học về luật và thiết kế theo kiểu là cái tòa nhà từ thấp đến cao giống như cái lòng bàn tay và ở giữa cái lòng bàn tay này thì nó có một cái giếng nước là nhiều tại vì cái phương tiện đi lại chủ yếu một người Singapore. Và nhà chung cư ở bên đây rất là mắc đó ạ. Rưỡi rồi. Bây giờ là 6 giờ rưỡi rồi. Xin một cái nữa là nhà mình lưu ý dùm em. Đó là chúng ta bây giờ là một công ty riêng. Ở bên đây là nó tách ra hai bên. Ở Việt Nam mình cũng vậy, là công ty xe riêng, rồi công ty tour riêng. Nếu như nhà mình muốn đi chơi là em phải thuê lại cái xe này, rồi gọi điện thoại về cho công ty để người ta để giữ lại cái xe này chở mình đi chơi tối hôm nay. Từng tour tối nay là đóng tiền liền dùm em. Là không biết là có bao nhiêu người đi ha. Bây giờ nhà mình check dùm em đi tại hết giờ làm việc rồi, xong rồi xuống mới đi ha. Nhưng mà về nhận phòng là phải thao tác nhanh dùm em. Thì bây giờ nhà mình nó có bao nhiêu người đi á để em biết em giữ xe luôn. Khoảng là hơn 2 tiếng gần 3 tiếng á em. Không, bây giờ không phải, bây giờ đi ăn cơm.
Xe thôi là.
Thấy xe. Rồi.
Không mà quay nè. Đừng có gấp đi.
English, Italian, Spanish. Not yet.
Oh, no.
Này ra cốc chùa quá phải không?